right, today we're going to talk about all things retirement. If you're new to my channel, my name is Ed Weir. I ran the third busiest Social Security office in the country. In my semi retirement, I'm helping you all make sure you're getting all the benefits you're entitled to. This is the busiest time of the year in terms of retirement. When I worked at Social Security, November, December was always crazy busy because people are looking to retire starting January. And sometimes they made the right decision and sometimes they didn't. So we at Social Security, when I worked there and still today, they can't really give you strategic type of kind of instructions like that. You basically have to know, you know, what you want and when you want it when you come in. They're kind of barred from giving that type of financial advice. It's unfortunate, but that's the system that we have, and the fact that they're completely understaffed and they can't spend a whole bunch of time with you. So that's what I'm going to do today. I'm going to walk through all things Social Security retirement. All right, let's get into it. I've got a whole list. I'm going to try to make this a comprehensive video on all things retirement. And then what I'll probably do is, if you have any specific questions, because if you follow my channel, you know there's exceptions to the exceptions to the exceptions. Um, and if you have a question, put the question in the description down below in the comments. In about a week or so, when I get a whole bunch of comments, I will do another video. It'll be like a follow up to this one, and it'll answer all your specific questions. Okay, let's go ahead and jump into it. So, when to file and when. Okay. So, when to file is, should you file early? Should you file at your full retirement age? Should you file at your delayed retirement credits at 70 years old? I'm getting this question all the time. And there's a whole bunch of videos out there that says if you don't file at 62, you're dumb. If you don't file at 65, you're dumb. If you don't wait till you're 70, you're dumb. Well, in my estimation, all those people that make those videos are dumb. Anyway, old Marine Corps sergeant, I could come up with more colorful words, but I'm going to just use the D word. All right. So, because it all depends on your specific situation, you have to ask yourself, are you healthy? Do to wait till 70? How's the genes in your family? Do your family live a long time? Because you want as much as you possibly can out of Social Security. Do you need the money? That's probably a giant one. Do you need the money right now? Are you working? I'll talk about working and collecting Social Security benefits. You can work and collect Social Security benefits, but you need to take that into consideration. You need to take into consideration, is your spouse waiting for their benefits to start? As spouse benefits, they can't start until you start your benefits. Do you have any children under the age of 18 that became disabled before the age of 22? And the new question I'm adding is the future of Social Security in terms of cuts and all the rest of it. I've talked about that several times. We've been kicking the can down the road. Our politicians have been kicking the can down the road in terms of fixing Social Security for the Social Security is going to be here forever as long as people pay FICA taxes in the future. But the problem is less revenue, more going out. There's a gap there. So we're looking at 21% cuts, 33% cuts. I've talked about that several other places. I'm not going to talk about that now, but you might want to take that into consideration. All right. And when? So if you decide, okay, I'm going to go ahead and start January 2025, when should you do it? Well, if you're going to do January 2025, I would call up right now immediately. Because if you call up right now, Social Security, they just moved to a new appointment only system. And so you have to have an appointment. You've always had to have an appointment for a claim. You could do some walk-ins and stuff, but I always recommend an appointment for a claim. So about 3 months before, so you call now, you probably won't get an appointment until next month or so, or the month after. And then 2 or 3 months before you're wanting to start your benefits, you can go ahead and get it done. So that's a good time. Call the 800 number to schedule an appointment, 800-772-1213. That's a Social Security national number, or you can file online. Filing online is always, always good. What about documents? What type of documents do you need? They changed the policy a few years ago that most people don't even need a birth certificate anymore. You need some type of ID, obviously, but you don't need your birth certificate to prove your age if you were born in the United States or you were, became a citizen and you changed everything when you became a citizen. Usually, there's an exception there. But if you were born in the United States, if your name on your Social Security card is wrong, the date of birth or something like that, and you're like, Ed, there is no date of birth on Social Security card. Yes, there is. It's just internal. It's not in your card, but it's an internal. It's called the NUMI. It has it has your names, all the names you've ever used. It has your Social Security number. It has your date of birth. It has your parents' names, your mother's maiden name. where you were born, city, state, and all that kind of good stuff. That's internal. If that's all correct, then you don't even need a birth certificate. All right. So, what about to make sure you're getting all the benefits you're entitled to? The number one thing to make sure you're getting everything from retirement, disability, survivors, all the rest of it is to check your earnings record. Please set up a Social Security account, the My Social Security account there, and you go in there and you check your earnings all the way back. Don't forget about those earnings in the 70s and 80s where you were, scooping ice cream at some place and you're like, oh, that was only a few $1,000s. Well, a few $1,000s in 1979 is probably worth, a whole bunch more money today. And that's how Social Security determines your benefit amount is based on your high 35 years of earnings, not your last 1, 3, 10, or anything like that. Your high 35 doesn't have to be consecutive. Your high 35 years of earnings, and they index those for kind of an inflation, a wage index. So earnings in 1975, $12,000 might be worth $80,000 today. So don't discount those early years. And if you see something wrong, say something when you file for benefits and say, hey, I worked in 1982 and it shows zero here. And the Social Security employee will look at what's called a suspense file and they'll see if there's those earnings there. And if they're there, they'll correct it and then you'll get the correct benefit amount. If you were in the military, make sure you tell them you were in the military. You get a little bit of extra bump for that, not a whole bunch, but hey, a buck's a buck's a buck. Might want to take your DD 214. Every good retired or ex military person always has a copy of their DD 214, no matter how dog eared it is. All right. So, you go ahead and file. And what about working? You're thinking about filing, but you're working and you're making too much or whatever the case may be. Next year, the earnings limit, if you're filing early retirement, is $23,400. So, but Social Security can switch to a monthly earnings limit when you first file for benefits. So let's say it's the middle of the year, July, and you want to start your benefits in this month in July. But up until last month, from January to June, you made $1 billion. And you're like, it's a little bit over 23,400. So I guess I can't retire this year. Nope, that's incorrect. You can, as long as starting July for this particular year, 2024, as long as you stay under $1,860, you can and stay under that amount for the rest of the year, you can start your Social Security benefits. Next year, the monthly limit is $1,950. So the first month you go under $1,950, you can start benefits. Doesn't matter what you made before, no relevance to what you made before. It's only when you start your Social Security benefits. They can go to the monthly earnings limit the first year. And then the next year, you have to stay under the annual earnings limit, whatever it's going to be for, 2026, 24, 25,000 or whatever the case may be. So there's probably a lot of people out there right now saying, oh my gosh, I made too much, for the first 6 or 7 months, but then I just stopped working 3 or 4 months ago. And are you telling me I could have filed for benefits 2 or 3 or 4 months ago? I'm losing all those checks. Yes, that's unfortunate. That's why the next thing I'm going to talk about is protective filing. So if you realize, oh my gosh, I could have started my benefits last month or 2 months ago or something, if you called Social Security, as soon as you pick up the phone and say, hey, you're protected. That is, let's say you call right now in November, it's the end of November, you call up and you don't get an appointment until January, right? And then you finally get a phone call in January and you talk to the person, they check your earnings, when you want to start your benefits, and you say, well, I guess January, right? But you called in November, you're protected for November. Doesn't matter how long it took you to get that appointment and stuff within reason. But you should tell the person in January, says, yeah, I called you all in November. It's not my fault y'all are, so backed up. Well, actually it is, because we need to force our politicians to staff Social Security so they can take care of us better. But I won't go off on that tangent right now. But you just tell the person, hey, I called you all in November, protective filing in November, and they'll look at it and says, oh yeah, you are. All right, I'll go ahead and start your benefits in November. But remember, every month you take your benefits early, it's reduced a little bit. But hey, a couple of months, you might say, well, okay, it's only reduced by, $5 or $10, but hey, I get another $1,000 or $2,000 of check, I go to Hawaii with that. So protective filing, very, very important thing a lot of people miss is protective filing, and they lose out a lot of money. All right. What about Medicare? If you're approaching 65, then you go ahead and sign up for Medicare as well, unless there's exception. People always say, "Hey, Medicare is mandatory." Yes and no. Same thing with everything. Social Security. Yes and no. It's mandatory if you don't have health insurance from current work, yours or your spouse's. If you have health insurance from current work, then you do not have to sign up for Medicare. And we're talking, again, current work, yours or your spouse's, and your employer has to have 20 or more employees. If it's under that, you have to sign up for Medicare Part A and Part B. If you sign up for benefits, money benefits, and you're 65, they automatically sign you up for Part A. You can't refuse that, and unless you have to pay for it. But if you're entitled to retirement benefits, your Part A is free, but you can refuse Part B. So this is you can do a restricted application. You can say, "Hey, I'm turning 65, but I don't want money. I don't want B. I just want to sign up for Part A to cover, because my health insurance has a high deductible. I want to go ahead and sign up for Part A." Okay, you can do that, unless you're giving to an HSA. You have to stop the HSA, the health savings account. See how complicated the whole thing is. But anyway, or you can say, "Hey, I want Part A and Part B, but no money. I want my Medicare to start at 65, but I want to wait till I'm full retirement age, 67 or 70, to start my money." Or you can say, "I want my A and I want my money, but I don't want my Part B because I currently have health insurance from work, or don't want B for whatever other reason." And that's a whole different issue we need to talk about. And then at the same time, you need to talk about, because there's so many gaps in Medicare, Part A and Part B. There's six big gaps. The big one is Part B. There's a 20% coinsurance. So if you get a $100,000 Band-Aid from your doctor, you have to pay $20,000. So you need to decide whether you get a Medicare supplement plan or a Medicare Advantage plan. I recommend going down. My list is check out Medicare supplement plan N first, and then G, very, very close behind, and then a Medicare Advantage. So NG Medicare Advantage. And you can reach out to my partners at Chapter there. They work the whole country, and they can help you review plans in your particular area 100% for free. And if you currently have a plan for 2025, there's close to 2 million people that have had their plans canceled. So,
Hey, if you need help with
or
Medicare,
downgraded
Medicare
to such an
Advantage,
extent, if you
Medicare
read the fine print,
supplements,
you would
Part D
cancel it and
plans,
find
make
another
sure you reach
plan
out
with
to
the
my
same company,
partners
or
at
upgrade
Chapter
it to
Medicare.
the same
I
company.
looked
They have
for a
multiple plans,
place that would
but reach out
help
to
you
them and
all
they
out.
can see if your plan was
And
canceled or
Chapter Medicare
downgraded,
knocked
or
it out of the
see
park.
what else
They've
they can
got
find for you.
excellent customer
100% free.
service. They look at every
If
single
you
plan in
are
your
already
area, and their
receiving
help
money
is always
benefits and you
100%
approach
free.
65,
Give them a
about
call,
100
and
days
they'll
before
see
you
if they
reach
can
your
help you
65th
out. And tell them
birthday,
Dr. Ed said hi.
Medicare will sign you up for Part A and Part B automatically. You'll get the packet in the mail. Be careful when you turn 65. Every insurance agent in the country and their brother contacts you, emails you, phone calls you incessantly, and sends you a whole bunch of stuff in the mail, and you just start throwing it away, and people throw away the official Medicare package that comes with your Medicare card. So be careful of that. So if you want to keep it, you don't do anything. You just keep it. Now you have Medicare Part A, Part B. Then you actually have to find a plan to cover the gaps. But if you don't want Part B, it'll give you instructions on there and how to return it. So you cancel or you refuse Part B because you have health insurance from work, and then you just keep the A, or whatever the case may be. Well, you have to keep the A because you're already receiving benefits. So it's automatic. But if you're not receiving monthly benefits, they won't sign you up for Medicare automatically, only if you're receiving money benefits. So if you're approaching 65 and you're not receiving money, you're going to wait till your full retirement age, or 70, or whatever the case may be. Then you have to go ahead and sign up for Medicare manually. Go through call it, schedule an appointment, or go online. All right. And then full retirement age. Full retirement age is changing. Obviously, it's next year. It's finally kicked in. Those people that are born in 1960 and after, your full retirement age is now 67. It's going to be 67, unless the politicians, which I completely disagree with, they should not raise the retirement age again. There's other solutions to shore up Social Security. I've talked about that many, many times. But so once you hit your full retirement age, the whole work thing no longer relevant. You can go back to making $1 billion a month once you hit your full retirement age. Actually, the year you turn your full retirement age. So if you turn your full retirement age in July, for the first 6 months, you can make next year is $62,160. Anything over that, they hold back $1 for every $3 you go over. So the year you turn your full retirement age, the earnings limit triples essentially. And then again, once you hit your full retirement age, you can go back to making $1 billion a month again. So hopefully they don't do anything with the full retirement age and increase that. It's easy for them because they just sit at a desk all day. And full retirement ages, yeah, it's not that big of a deal if you're sitting around a desk. But if you have a manual job, then yeah. All right. So and then there's delayed retirement credits. So if you don't collect your money benefits at your full retirement age and you continue to wait, you get 8% per year added on to your Social Security benefit. So let's say your full benefit is $1,000. If you wait till the month you turn 70, then you'll get $1,240. You'll get an extra 24%. So, but don't wait past 70. Too many people go into my chat there and question and say, well, I'm 72. When should I start my Social Security benefits? I'm like, 2 years ago. So the month you turn 70, your benefits no longer increase based on waiting. So please don't wait past that. What about spouse benefits? I'm going to do a separate video on spouse benefits for 2025. I'll probably do another one on Medicare, another one on surviving spouse benefits, another one on disability kind of update for the 2025 type stuff. But spouse benefits, they changed the law in 2016. In order to get spouse benefits, you have to file for benefits on your own record first. And then if the spouse or the divorced spouse, or there's also another program called independently entitled divorce spouse benefits, which a lot of people miss and lose a lot of money out there. I'll talk about that when I do the spouse video. But spouses, your benefit has to be less than half of the other spouse, of the worker, the number holder, as we call it, Social Security, or we used to call it. Again, I'm retired from Social Security. That's why I can tell you all the tips, tricks, and secrets from the inside. So your benefit has to be less than half of the other person. And basically, how it goes, if you're entitled to half of the other person is $500, and your benefit is $400, you'll get your $400 plus the difference, $100, if you wait until your full retirement age. Anytime you take money from Social Security, every month it's reduced a little bit. Every month you take it early. That goes for retirement benefits, spouse benefits, surviving spouse benefits. There are exceptions to that. Disability, no. Disability, it's never reduced. It's always that benefit amount. Surviving spouse, if something happens to you, your surviving spouse gets those benefits if your benefit was higher. And spouses do not get delayed retirement credit. So if you waited till 70 and you're getting 1240, your spouse, your current living spouse, does not get based on that 1240. They still get the 50% based on your full retirement age benefit amount. But they do get it as a surviving spouse. Surviving spouses do get those delayed retirement credits. And if you're filing for retirement benefits and you have children under the age of 18, or that became disabled before the age of 22, they can get benefits on your record up to 50%. And there's a family match there. All right. So we've got a live Q&A. Let's answer some questions. First question looks like what counts as income for working for the annual earnings limit? It's work or net income from business. So if you're like, well, does my Social Security benefits count as the 23,400? No. Does a 401k distribution count? No. Does that royalty I get from acting in that movie in the 1970s count? No. Any of that, it's only current work, working, getting a W-2 for this. It's not any investments or selling or anything like that. What about disability and retirement? There's a trick. If you're in your 60s or so and you're thinking about filing for retirement, and the reason you're thinking about filing for retirement is because you're no longer able to work. If you're no longer able to work because of disability, you might consider filing for retirement and disability at the same time. You're not going to get both benefits. You'll get whichever is the best for you, essentially. So why do people do that? Let's say you're 62 years old, you can no longer work because of a physical disability, mental disability, and to file for disability, to get an approval, to get a decision takes 6 to 9 months if you're lucky. And people just can't wait 6 to 9 months to get a decision. So what they can do is go ahead and file for early retirement benefits, get that check started while they're waiting for their disability to be decided. So if it's decided, you might get a little reduction based on the 2 or 3 or 4 or 5 months you took your retirement benefits, depending on how they decide your disability. Is there another question? Are you able to stop benefits? Yes. If you file for retirement at 63 because you stopped working, and after a week you got bored like I did and said, "Oh, I need to go find something else," and here I am. So if you do the same thing, if you suck at retirement like I do, then you can stop your benefits within 12 months. So you can kind of get a mulligan. You call up Social Security and say, "Yeah, I shouldn't have filed 12 months ago. I wanted to withdraw my application." So you withdraw it like it never happens. And because it never happened, you have to pay back all the money you got since you started receiving benefits. So it won't be a final withdrawal until you pay all the money back. After that, if it turns out you're going to be going over the annual earnings limit, you can suspend your benefits. You just call up Social Security and say, "Hey, I'm going to make $80,000 this year," so they'll start withholding $1 for every $2 you go over, and your benefits will be suspended. They will recalculate that later. It's called ARF, the adjusted reduction factor. And basically, what it is when you hit your full retirement age, they look at your benefit amount, they look at what you took, and they say, "Hey, John took his benefits 30 months early. So we're reducing his monthly benefit amount by 30 months. But he only took 10 checks because he stopped his benefits for 20 months." So what they'll do at your full retirement age, 100% automatic, they will unreduce your benefits. So instead of getting a check that is reduced for 30 months, you will get a check that is reduced for 10 months for the rest of your life. So that's 100% automatic. You don't have to do anything. All right. What else is there? Yeah. So that's the annual reduction factor. There's another one that almost nobody knows about. Social Security employees don't know about it. You can actually delay your benefits when you hit your full retirement age. So if you've been getting your retirement benefits and then you hit the lottery, you get some money or something like that, and you say, "Hey, I should have gotten those delayed retirement credits." You can still do that. You stop your benefits just before you hit your full retirement age, and Social Security will suspend those, and you'll get that 8% delayed retirement credits for those year, or 2 years, or 3 years, or whatever the case may be. And then at 69, 70, or whatever, you restart your benefits, and you got those 8% increase. Other question here: what about if you continue to working and collect Social Security? If you're 65, 75, 85, 95, 105 years old, doesn't matter how old you are. If you continue to work and pay into Social Security, then your benefits will increase if that work was one of your high 35 years of earnings. So what happened, this is 100% automatic as well. So you get your COLA every year. That's automatic. Everybody gets their COLA. And as soon as the COLA comes out, the Social Security computer system multiplies it times 76 million people, and everybody gets their COLA automatic. But when you file your IRS taxes, you talk to your buddies at the IRS and you do your taxes and you pay your money. The IRS notifies Social Security. Social Security looks at it and says, "Hey, Barbara worked last year. Was this one of her high 35 years?" And they look at, "Oh, yeah, this is one of the high 35 years." So they kick out the low one, stick in the new one, and then they recalculate your benefits, and your benefits go up. It can never go down. It can only go up. But that takes a little bit of time because you have to file your benefits, you have to file your tax returns first, and then Social Security has to get that. So I've in October, people are calling me and saying, "Hey, Ed, I just got an extra $100 in my Social Security check. What happens?" And I'm like, "Did you work last year?" "Yeah." There you go. So sometimes it takes several months to get that, but that's 100% automatic. You don't have to do anything.